guys! So today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up video, and for the month of February I actually did do a themed reading month, and my theme was Fairy Tale Retelling February. Now if you guys watched my last video, you know that during the month of February I was actually sick pretty much the entire month. So I did not get as much reading done as I had originally hoped, but I did read 2.5 books out of the 4 that I planned, so I made some accomplishments. I'm still proud of myself. Am I 3 books behind on my Goodreads reading challenge? Yes. I am. Do I care? No. Well, actually I really do, but I'm trying very hard not to care. So the first book that I read during Fairy Tale Retelling February was Strands of Bronze and Gold by Jane Nickerson. Now this story is kind of set right before the Civil War era, and it follows Sophia Petheram, who is a 16-year-old girl who has a very humble life. She is not rich. Her family kind of just scrapes by, and when her father dies, that leaves them pretty close to destitute. So when Sophia receives a letter from her wealthy godfather, she jumps at the chance to visit him. At first, everything is so perfect. It's everything that she imagined. She lives in a big mansion. She has people waiting on her hand and foot. She has pretty dresses. It's basically everything she's ever dreamed of. But soon upon arriving, Sophia does learn that her godfather has been harboring some dark secrets involving the mysterious deaths of his past 4 wives. Now I have to say that while this story had a lot of promise and I was very intrigued by the premise, it fell completely flat for me. It was so slow. It was so boring. And, you know, there were some entertaining parts, there were some parts where it was like, oh, but it was very predictable. Sophia as the main character, she was so one-dimensional, she was so damsel in distress. The whole entire story is told from her perspective, so, you know, if you're bored with the main character, you're gonna be bored with the entire story. I ended up giving the book 2 stars, and I gave it 2 stars because I enjoyed the writing style, but everything else, I didn't like it at all. The next book that I read for Fairy Tale Retelling February was Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. This is a book that follows a young teenager named Nyx, and before Nyx was even born, her father bargained her life away to a man known as the Gentle Lord. Nyx's father and mother were desperate to conceive a child. The Gentle Lord made a bargain with him that if he helped his wife to conceive a child, she would have to be betrothed to the Gentle Lord. Now Nyx actually ended up having a sister. Her mother delivered twins, but in the process her mother passed away, and it kind of shows you right away what kind of character the Gentle Lord is, because he makes these bargains with other people, but there's always a twist to them, and one way or another it's not what you expected, it's not what you originally asked for, and he gets a sort of sick pleasure out of distorting what people want. So upon Nyx's wedding day, she goes to live with him. She obviously has a lot of resentment towards her father for choosing her to be bargained away to the Gentle Lord. She has a lot of resentment towards her sister, who gets to go on living her life happily, and basically her entire family, who has given her away to a fate that will most likely end with her dying. Upon arriving, Nyx quickly discovers that there's a lot more to the Gentle Lord than she had originally thought, and the very first night that she meets the Gentle Lord, he bargains with her and tells her that if she's able to guess his name, he will set her free. The rest of the story follows Nyx as she tries to discover ways to defeat the Dark Lord while also trying to fight her growing desire for him. Now, the premise of this book was so lovely. The mythological aspects that were involved and the writing and the storytelling I really enjoyed. I really did like the world building, but one thing I did not like was the insta-love romance. I hate insta-love. I truly do. I did end up really liking the relationship that Nyx and the Gentle Lord had, but I felt like the author could have devoted at least a few more chapters to the development of that relationship, as opposed to it just being like, oh, I love you, yeah. That was just unrealistic to me. That annoyed me. And Nyx as a character, I just had so many problems with her because I like characters that have a lot going on for them. But with her, it was like in a multiple personality aspect. I could never get a feel for who she was, and she just was not a solid, realistic character. The ending was very surprising, and the ending is basically probably what saved this story for me. But overall, just, you know, all the factors that I mentioned before made it just a 3-star for me. As my friend Maggie said, who I actually buddy read this book with, it wasn't meh, but it wasn't wow. The next book that I read for Fairy Tale Retelling February, I almost said March, was Splintered by A.G. Howard. As I mentioned before, this is a Alice in Wonderland sort of retelling. It follows a young girl named Alyssa, who's actually a descendant of Alice Little, who was the young girl that Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland is based off of. And she's going through a lot. She's going through a lot because her mother has been committed to an insane asylum, and she has been fighting off a lot of the same traits that her mother shows. Hearing voices, hearing the voices of insects and bugs and roaches and all that stuff. So she's been fighting off all of those traits, trying to hide those secrets from her father so she doesn't condemn herself to the same fate as her mother. Now, I got about halfway through this book and really enjoyed it, but I had to put it aside because during March I'm doing my Down with Dragons read along, but as soon as I finish Dance with Dragons, I'm going to pick Splintered back up and finish it because I just got this in the mail today. If you guys couldn't already guess, this is the second book in it says a Splintered novel, so I guess the Splintered trilogy. And Missy over at Binge Reader, I need to just stop saying over at Binge Reader, Missy. I mention her in like every video. You guys know who Missy is. She's bomb.com. She sent me this as an early birthday present, and I actually just got it in the mail today. I wasn't expecting it, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know what this could be. I am so excited to read this. Thank you so much. So in the comments below, I would love for you guys to let me know if you've read these books, and if you did, what you thought of them. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Whatever you feel, it's all good. Let's just get talking about it. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.